Hi everyone, it's Cracklex, and when I first saw Tom Cruise sitting in an ultralight airplane, fully equipped with a camera right in front of his face, I really realized the scale of what they were filming. This is not just a stunt on a green screen, not a computer model. It was him in the sky, in real flight. The camera was attached to a special mount to his body, and it caught literally every movement and emotion he made during the jump. In one of the behind-the-scenes episodes, you can see how the team tested this equipment right on the ground. Tom is lying down with a technical team standing around checking the angle, light, and stability, and only then do they take to the sky, where there is no room for error. But the hardest part is not the jump itself, but how they organized it. In the final scene with the airplanes, Tom Cruise tries to climb from one plane to another right in the air. Yes, between two ultralight airplanes. He is held by safety cables, but even with them, it looked wildly risky. Wind, turbulence. One plane is hitting the other, and he's trying to keep his balance and climb up. To make this stunt work, the team had to bring the helicopter and the ultralight airplane to the same level in the air. The lower plane had a pilot in an all-green suit, which will be removed later in the edit. Also attached the wheels of a real airplane under the helicopter so that Tom could catch on. On the screen we see just the coupling of the planes, but in reality there is a wild technical calculation and centimeter accuracy behind it. And now imagine, all this is not in a studio, not in a pavilion, but right in the air at altitude in real flight. No green background, no stunt doubles. Just Tom Cruise and a camera that captures his every move in the sky. One of the most impressive things about the filming of Mission Impossible is how much they go into the technique. For example, when they needed to film Tom Cruise in motion, they didn't just put the camera somewhere on the side. They built a tripod that Tom Cruise would wear and on which they specially mounted a camera with a stabilizer, and that's the only way to get the smooth shots we see in the movie. At one point, Tom is running towards a yellow airplane and the cameraman is filming him from behind with a tracking camera. Then there is a camera from the front which moves backwards in sync with his running. When the footage from the movie is shown next to it, you can see that the result is worth it. Some of the most extreme shots of the movie were shot in Svalbard, Norway. And these are not some CGI landscapes or studio sets, these are real Arctic conditions. The temperature on set was about -40 degrees Celsius, and the team literally worked in conditions that most people have only seen on Discovery. It turns out that the ideal time for ice shots is not the coldest, but the opposite, when the temperature rises slightly and a light texture appears on the surface. That's why I waited a whole day to shoot to catch the right light and texture. I would also like to mention the scenes with dogs. In the movie, they pull a sled with Cruise, and this is not a graphic. The behind the scenes video shows how these dogs are trained and run in a real race in the snow. The underwater scenes in this movie are a separate world, and what is important is that they were not created entirely on a computer. The actors and crew actually worked completely underwater in suits with compressed air, cameras, and lights. They created their own sign language system. Literally everything there had its own designation: one finger for one take, two for cut, a rotational movement for do it again, and there were also signals like longer, I'm resting, or let's go for a close-up. It wasn't just improvisation, it was like a full-fledged language for working underwater. What's interesting is that the director says directly in the frame, after the introduction of this language, the shooting became many times more efficient because each team member could quickly make it clear what exactly needed to be changed without interrupting the process. One of the backstage videos showed one of the most famous elements of the Mission Impossible movie, Tom Cruise's running. As always, there was no hacking around. The scene was filmed right on Westminster Bridge in London with Big Ben in the background with a full crew, blocked traffic, and maximum attention to every move. Cruise doesn't just run into the frame, he warms up for a long time in a full costume, prepares physically to keep his form and precision in every movement. To capture this dynamic, we used a car with a stabilized camera that drove sideways parallel to Tom. This allowed us to shoot close-ups on the go without losing sharpness even at high speed.